Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia and I have popped in to share my latest project. And as you've probably already worked out, it's Halloween themed. What I've done is I have made a photo album, and I always like to construct a little story, and my story for this one is that this is an album that belongs to a coven of witches and has been passed down through several generations. So this measures about 8.5 by 6.25, and I actually constructed it completely from scratch. So I used chipboard to make the base, and then covered that with black cardstock, and then I have also covered the spine with fabric. I did add some braid trim down the side. I used an embossing folder to decorate the front and the back, and I've used wax to give that a little bit of dimension. And then I used a gorgeous frame from Finnabar, which I've painted black, and added in a drawing, black and white drawing of a witch. I love this vintage image. I think it comes from the Graphics Fairy. So one of the reasons that I chose to construct the journal from scratch, or the album from scratch, was I wanted it to look like an old album, and I wanted it to lie flat. And in order to do that, I had to go to that traditional style of album making from scrapbooking. And I don't know whether you can see that there. They use this paper hinge method, which leaves a gusset, and that enables the book to lie completely flat. You can also add in 3D embellishments and cards, what have you, and it doesn't make it into a gator mouth. And so very cool. I will definitely use this method again. So 9 pages, and I've used lots and lots of different things in here. I will list, it's mostly digitals. The orange paper is commercial paper that was just in my stash. This, for instance, is from an Etsy shop called Digital Curio. I've also used papers from 2 other shops, and then lots and lots of ephemera from all over the place. If I can remember, I might mention it. Otherwise, I will leave a list in the description box below the video. So as I said, this little album tells a story, and it's the story of the Hawthorne Coven. And this is the Hawthorne Coven leader. Her name is, or she's referred to as Granny Hawthorne. This is a photo of Granny and her sisters when they were very young. Added in some Tim Holtz pieces here, and also made these little flowers and a little bit of fiber to add a little bit of interest. And then I have popped a couple of pieces of ephemera in there. This is an AI digital from Etsy. It comes from a little shop called PaperSnippets. I've used commercial on the back and also stamped that. And then this is one of my favorite little dies. It's from Spellbinders, and it's a locket, and actually the front of it has a filigree, and often you can leave that open so it's transparent, like you can see through it. I like to add in a piece of paper, either a similar one or a contrasting one, and then I've used one of those silhouette pieces that was around during the Regency era to this. So this was like an heirloom passed down to Granny. So if you've got any questions, you're always welcome to leave them in the comment section. So this is one of the other digitals that I used, again Etsy, and it's called Witch's Dance. Not a shop I've used before, but I will leave that in the description box. Added a little bit of washi tape, and this is an embroidered fabric patch that has been in my stash for years, and finally found a home. So if I've used lots of vintage images, some of them are ones that have been altered, other ones are AI. So if you Google, or you do an Etsy search and say witches photos, you will get lots of things to choose from. And new ones are added all the time. So this is from that same shop, again, an AI digital, so paper snippets. And whilst I used probably 4 or 5 images from this shop, a lot of them I didn't find very usable, but low cost. So I think it's worth it just to get those ones that I liked. So this, I imagined, was Granny as a young woman, and she was, of course, the Coven Beauty. So I've popped this image onto a silver doily, and then used a piece of embossing folder, the same as is on the cover. And then, of course, Granny found love. So I couldn't find a witchy sort of image, so I just used a Victorian couple. This is an image from the Graphics Fairy, which is a great place to search for free images, and it's American, so it does have Halloween ones. Again, the Witch's Dance papers, and I just added in some little pieces of ephemera. And up the top, I used another die to make another cabinet card. That one I cut out the middle so that I could have a frame and a back, and I used again some wax to give that a bit of color. And on this page I've added a bit of trim and some diamantes. Vintage photo, I've used this in quite a few of my Halloween makes. I absolutely love that pumpkin pram. This is gorgeous kit. It's from Calico Collage, a journal kit called Gothic, and absolutely beautiful. I made a journal many years ago which I sold and wish I'd kept using that kit. So I imagined that Granny had children, and I even gave them names and personalities. So this is little Sibylla, and her sister Electra, and Electra's little dress there has stickles on it, and very theatrical. And then this little charmer is Lilith. This is from Craft and Cherish, but there are, like, again, this one's AI generated. If you put in grumpy kids into Etsy, you will get a few hits. So I added these little 3D spiders, and then I imagined this was the girls going out for Halloween. I'm thinking this would be Lilith. So Tim Holtz die, and then a really old embossing folder and die from Cuttlebug? I've had for years. I use it often for Halloween. It's very cool. Another Calico Collage paper. These are from Chocolate Rabbit, I think. And then I made a card because I couldn't find an image of a witch flying a broom. So I just used an image from the Witch's Dance papers. And this is an old commercial Kaisercraft card that has been in my stash for ages, so I was glad to use that. These were from Chocolate Rabbit. Again, I imagined that the girls went to witch school, so this is some young witches. And just again, some tags. And of course, a little bit older, and you've got witches' balls and all sorts of entertainment. Again, from Chocolate Rabbit. And of course, every witch needs a familiar. This is an image from the Calico Collage kit, which I've turned into a tag. This is also an image from the Calico Collage kit. I printed it onto glossy paper, and this is one of the papers from the kit as well, which I've shrunk down. And eventually the Coven has a new leader, and I imagined that was actually Lilith. So this is a Lilith all grown. and another AI from PaperSnippet, and the Witch's Dance papers. This image up here is actually one that I generated myself using a free AI generator, because I couldn't find one with a witch and a cauldron. So that was a bit of a learning curve, because I've never done that before. But eventually I got some images that I could use. And love these images of the old witches. So these are altered photos. You can find those on Etsy. And this one, this actually came from Pinterest. When I was looking for ideas, I'd seen this previously. This is a male water ski champion from the 1950s in the US, and he dressed up as a witch, and they took that photo, and I just love that, so I had to add that in. Witches having fun. And my last ones here are again AI images that I generated myself. And this one flips up. You could add a photo in there, and I've just added in a leftover one that I had. And my last image is of Lilith's children. I love this, so cute, these little black dresses and the little boy with the black bloomers and his little cane. So I had to find a way to incorporate that, so I thought that would be it. Lilith, the future of the coven. Okay, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the little play that I had, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Happy Halloween.